Hello everyone and welcome back to a new mech video of 2018 October. We have got one of my all-time favourite battle mechs ever created, the Champion. This is an SLDF hit back in the day, created by Bergen Industries. Effectively makes this mech the big brother of the Locust, as the Locust was their first mech, the Champion was their second. And that was the brief look at the mech lab. Wasn't a hell of a lot to show there. The loadout hasn't changed in any way, shape or form. The mech comes stock with an LB-10 in the right torso, a pair of small lasers in the CT, a pair of medium lasers in the left torso with an SRM-6. The arms on this are completely perfunctory. They are shield arms, essentially. And you also may have noticed it's wide. It's extremely wide. And to be honest, the original write-up for the Champion mentioned that it was one of its biggest drawbacks was how fucking big it was. The mech is overly sized for the project. Not quite sure what Bergen Industries were thinking there. There was a retcon later on to suggest that it may have been part of a, at the time, secret LAM conversion project, and hence the arms may have had something to do with it turning into a type of jet fighter, but I think they only made a couple of prototypes and they fell flat on their ass because the mech was just too big to turn into a LAM. So yeah, the Champion's always one of my favourites, and to be fair, I originally picked it as one of my favourites mainly just to annoy the bro. Because he hates it, he thinks it's terrible. So I thought I'd be contrarian and just decide that actually I really like the Champion. But over time, I've actually felt that it is actually quite a good mech. It's fast, it's got half decent equipment. The only thing it lacks really is any solid punch at range. Normally on the tabletop, the LB would be a good choice for this, but no ammo switching, so you're stuck with just shelling. With the LBs, unfortunately. And if you can hear some noise in the background, it's because Kitty's got headphones on and isn't realising that I'm recording. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, so what do we get in the MWO version? Well, you've got a mech that comes with a single missile hardpoint, a single ballistic hardpoint, and 4 energy. Basically, what the mech comes with is the number of hardpoints you get. It does have drawbacks, I have to say. Although the mech is incredibly fast with a standard 300 engine, as by default, it does need some upgrades, especially with the new heat changes that have come in, and there's still yet to be felt how they've changed gameplay. Is currently up in the air at the time of recording this. This is literally recorded on the day that the mech arrived in MWO, alongside these new heat scale changes and a few weapon and quirk changes that followed on. So personally, this mech, it doesn't really need much more than just the double heatsink upgrade. You don't even have to add extra heatsinks, although I added the 2 in just to cover myself in case. The mech is very, very heat efficient at this stage. However, if you do want to upgrade it to be a bit more effective in its DPS range, the options are there. The 4 energy hardpoints, all torso mounted, mean that you've got a mech here that with a light fusion, or at least a standard engine, can take hits, lose a side torso and keep going. The important side torso to protect is your left hand one, however. Although your right will have your one and only ballistic, you've got more weapons to lose on your left side, so if you're going to shield with the mech, use your right hand side. Another thing to note is that the CT mounted energy hardpoints are quite low down, so you will hit the floor if you're not careful, whereas the left hand ones, the missile being higher up again, the energy hardpoints there have a bit more height, which means you can peek and shoot with the mech. So it's pretty good in that respect. One thing I did notice, and you saw that earlier actually when I peeked and fired the LB, is that although you might be spot on, the LB is actually quite a way over from where you are in the cockpit, so you will have to take into account the slight difference there in the average spacing between your cockpit and the mech, and the LB rounds can hit walls, so you do have to take into account the actual width of this mech. I've never really thought that was an issue before, but it turns out PGI have actually gone at it and decided that, well, if the mech's wide, then the weapons are further out, so take that into account when you are firing whatever big ballistic you do decide to stick in there. Let's see, happy with the speed, but you obviously can go way up. Standard 300 is not the default engine, it can go way up to a 320 or above, so you can make this an incredibly fast heavy if you wish to do that. XL engines, I'm undecided whether they're very good on this. I would say no. Unfortunately, the 2 large jet turbine things on the back of it do make very easy targets for snipers, and with some of the high damage DPS builds out there, yeah, you're going to lose them quick. So XL engines are probably a no-no on this mech. Don't ever bother. A technical thing here that's actually an aside from what's happening in this patch, and again, this is recorded before any type of hotfixes. There was a serious performance drop in this one. Lots of people in the chat were complaining about it during this match, but basically it seemed that either when a champion was on screen or when a certain number of missiles were on screen, the frame rate seemed to drop terribly. If you've been having these issues as well, it seems to be linked to either the particle effects or something to do with the champion, though I'm not sure if it is actually the mech. I'd be surprised if a character model could do that, but this is the weird and wacky world of PC gaming. I suspect that something's happened here with regards to the particle effects of LRM fire, and every time they were launched it was causing serious dips. You can see it in this video noticeably for me a couple of times, but for other players they were complaining that they were getting basically slideshow frame rate drops on their systems. It's not a good thing, and hopefully PGI will look into it and get this hotfixed ASAP, because yeah, that's not good, especially in the midst of quite a few people not being happy with the changes that have come up as well. It's just going to be more ammunition for those who want to be critical of the changes to the overall gameplay. That side, would I recommend the champion? Bias aside, because I'm a big fan of the mech, I don't know. I don't really know if it fills any particular niche. The Endosphere have fast heavies anyway. We've had the Dragon for the longest time. The difference with this one is relatively minor, although the Dragon probably has less hardpoints than this, so arguably you could say the champion is better in regards to the number of weapon hardpoints available to it. You can probably get a decent clan 60-tonner, things like the linebacker, that can do the job better than the champion. Has a lower profile than the champion, and certainly isn't as wide. So I don't know, this one might just be for people who are fans of those, you know, of the 2750 era mechs like myself. So it's decent, you know. There are some half decent quirks out there for the rate of fire on different versions, or weapon cooldown and the such, but I don't know if it's a must buy personally. Not knocking the design, I think the mech looks fine. It's a decent rendition of the classic champion, which already looked a bit awkward, to be fair, anyway, in the original artwork, so that's not a big deal. Some mechs are just ugly by design, and this is one of them, you know. So yeah, I personally like it. I'll be playing a lot more of it. I'll get it running on streams. I'll be doing the chassis variant series on this as well, in which there are 4 versions that I have to do videos for. So yeah, it'll be. I'll probably have a better opinion of it by then. Initial impressions though are that it's fun, it's fast, it seems to be able to take quite a beating. I did up the armor after adding endo steel to it, and yeah, it does seem to be able to take a bit of a kicking. The fact that I lost the side torso quite early was because I got shot in the back by someone with an alpha strike, but that aside, the mech does weather the storm. It engages numerous enemies. I took a dual AC-20 shot there, and I'm about to take more ultra AC-20 shots, and it stays intact. So yeah, it's got durability on its side, I can say that much. But that side, yeah, it's I like it, but I don't think it's, again, massively necessary. Get it if you want a new speedy heavy, or you just want to complete that collection. Otherwise, it was a good match, 8-12, good fight all round. I was happy with my damage, got a couple of kills, and thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.